the Scarlet Brotherhood or some of the more secret assassin societies. But in recent years, especially with the call to arms going across the world, with all the threats that were coming around, more allies bred of necessity, as it were. So some mysterious looks. But again, most of the time you probably, you dealt with the people how you saw fit. But you certainly have encountered the majority of people saying, priestess, wait, we're no
Right.
holy symbol. Charlotte, any band-aid, something, anything? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I would definitely help in any way I could, but definitely emphasizing the fact that as I may follow a god that typically has clerics and healers, but I tend to fight more for them instead of heal for them, but I still
Kind of
help
more one of
where I
those,
can.
you got a tummy ache? Let me see your finger. You may feel some pressure.
Acupuncture,
Yeah, okay. So, but yeah, so you arrive. Big favor, Tiger Bomb, yo. She's a monk. Come on.
Put her socks
Yeah,
on over it, put it on the bottom of your feet. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so treating everyone that you met with respect and pleasantness overall, and the vast majority of people treating you the same. A few avoiding you. No real hostility or anything. The town itself is maybe about 800 people, about 300 people, 350 people living right around the fort itself. Currently more of a ferry. Early in the year, during the spring runoffs, things like that, the Celantan, despite it being influenced by the tides of both the Near Div and the Woolly Bay, runs a little bit higher for it to actually be running as a ford. But plenty of ferry activity going to and fro, likewise barges arriving from both passing the town, occasionally arriving. One ford's more known for just kind of livestock, things like that, but even that had been trickling down as Lord Blackfriar up near Two Ford had been kind of doing a lot more in regards to, feeding the valley, as it were. It's a small town. I wouldn't say necessarily struggling, but certainly not thriving, certainly not growing. And again, a few of the houses here and there are boarded up with the dispersions of populations, both fleeing conflicts and dying in conflicts and all that during the war years. It's not a big surprise to see a large area not as populated as you would expect, But meanwhile, also likely arriving, you step off the. We're going to go ahead and switch over to Maristella here real quick. Being a person of the river, being the person of Rennie background, as it were, seen in good light by few, suspicious light by many, the impolite term river gypsies, passes across lips here and there. But you differed from your other folks, as you had a little bit more of a connection, as it were, to the natural world, and saw more than, as much as you were attached to your family, whether it's found or birth. The stars that you follow, the stars that seem to draw you into your new career, also kind of pulled you away from life on the Near Div. So for whatever hippie druid reason, you felt drawn to the city of One Ford, stepping off your barge, wishing some of your friends the very best, and the large barge, probably about 30 foot, about 25 foot wide, about 40 foot long, kind of like a Mississippi River barge, wide, long, really flat bottom. Continues sailing south, a single square mast in the middle of it with a bunkhouse right there. You wave off your people, and you kind of clamber off the dock near the large paved area. I need to remember to turn my ping thing on. First thing, describe yourself real quick.
Okay. I'm, on the short side, and like longish, curly, black hair. Tan. You can tell I spend most of my time outside. Just wearing a simple leather tunic and pants, and I've got a quarterstaff with me. And I'm just walking, looking around, smiling at whoever, I make eye contact with.
Okay. So, the first thing that you kind of take notice of, I'm gonna go ahead and put Suchek on the spot next, is a rather large. You've seen plenty of lizard folk, but typically you don't see them at anything other than larger trade markets or seasonal gatherings, or at the unfortunate pointy end of a guard's spear. But you notice a fellow with about 10, 12 guys kind of standing around, humans for the most part, a halfling and a couple of a couple of half elves mixed into the group. Just questioning this specimen, this curious creature, this lizard folk, as he seems to. I'm gonna let him handle this. Small crowd gathered as you emerged from a nice little dip into the Celantan, taking the long way. Preferring not necessarily to pass through as much travel. You took advantage of the waterways to make your way here, Suchek. You've been in the area a day or two, kind of getting a feel for things, exposing yourself here and there to the eyes of farmers and fishermen, and thankfully not a whole lot of bow shots. There was a small group of people that approached you, the Mist Marsh bandits have already started, and you calmly reminded, wait a minute, they usually don't do that till June. Number two, their frills are a little bit different colored. They kind of smell a little bit more swampy. I have a little bit more of a briny, salty smell to me. I think he's kind of right, man. All right, so you kind of Maristella, you happen upon this situation, a conversation going like this. Describe yourself, Suchek.
Yeah, I am Suchek. I'm a lizard folk of the Nat Marsh, which probably a lot of the residents mistake me for the other one, but I make sure to inform them now. I am a little further that way. And so, lizard folk, pretty tall and very muscular, very warrior built, and he's kind of got darker, like a tan kind of underbelly, but on the exterior, darker green scales, and not completely intact. You can see there's a couple of patches of scales missing from whatever creature might have taken that from him. And very not well clothed, is very much used to just environment and nature just being on his skin and that being his attire, but he's not unmodest, especially around the humans as he thinks of them. So basic kind of hide clothing, like short pants and not much of a top, but there's a little bit of a scarf, just
like a bandolier harness type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just like patches of leaves and moss from where he's from, like on the shoulders and elbows and wrists. And he's carrying around a maul, but not finely made. It's really just a large branch with a large stone at the end of it. And he has 2 hand axes on his belt, which are similar make, just stone and stick. And he's probably just towering over all the other residents, kind of glaring at him, giving him the same confused look as they're giving him.
Is there a problem? There is no problem. But yeah, frills, spines, a lot of like the big long. You got like the full blown Gojira ridge going on, or just kind of some smaller, like a creature from the Black Lagoon looks going on. Just out of curiosity.
I'd say more the lagoon look.
Okay, smaller, harder, bonier ridges, not the big old freaking Australian looking stuff. Okay, I'm with you. Cool. Okay, so kind of traveling down the. We're going to go ahead and get everyone else into it a little bit here. Tobrin, you have been in town maybe a day and a half, being a person of the career that you've chosen, likely spending a little bit of time at the local temple, the Temple of Light. Passing through town as may or may not be your custom. It's kind of an all faiths temple, as it were, but the local healer is primarily a worshiper of Beret, as the god of the god of life, hearth, and growth type thing. Maybe compelled to do a little bit of your alms community service, or spread the good word of your own. Engaging in some happy debate with local barflies or acolytes of Beret, going, however, you've been in the local temple. Let me mark it on. I keep forgetting. I keep turning that off there. The temple of Beret there. This is the dock area where currently Sulchek and Maristella are at. Our monk Anya has probably hung a little bit of a right, headed towards the scene, as it were, here. But just kind of hanging out at the temple. You go ahead and just kind of moseying around a little bit. You notice the same small gathering of Arini barge touching off from the dock, or from the forward area of the dock area near the ferry ground, the ferry landing. A small cluster of people around a rather large lizard folk. A monk, an individual dressed in colorful blue robes with gold trim coming off to your right, and a Renee barge woman, as you would see, growing up on Elm Shore, quite familiar with the look of them, seem to be gathered up next to the lizard folk. As you're approaching, the other figures notice you, primarily because, it's like, that's a well-dressed child, maybe. I don't know. Describe yourself.
Great.
Yeah. Sayavea, the cleric, had also encouraged you to get around. So you're approaching these guys, and who am I living? We're still missing Rylan and Pergalore. Rylan, you're up next, brother.
All right.
Rylan, I'm sorry. I'm Clicking tabs here furiously, trying to make sure I didn't lose something I thought I lost. Okay, there we go. Traveling from not too far away as well, likely crossing on one of the ferries from the northern edges, the southwestern edges of the gnarly woods, the Fey Kingdom, the Selene. You and I know that. You may not necessarily have disclosed that to anyone else yet, with the varying attitudes of the Selene. In regards to this Kingdom of the Selene, especially in the local region, as the orcish hordes of the Pomars were pushing up, destroying Fax, and currently occupying the city of Cantona, a lot of people were like, "Where were the elves when the Woolly Bay Savage Coast fell?" But before that, Yondala, to be fair, had seen the lives of our near immortal elves, living near 700 to 1,000 years in natural ways, died by the scores, hundreds, and even thousands in the establishment of the kingdoms of the Ulex. And fearful of watching the remainder of her life, of her fellows, and the livelihoods and the legends and everything of the elven populations of Selene depleted in yet another war to establish another kingdom that's not theirs, she said enough, and she closed the borders. Some of you felt that was excessive. Some of you felt that was right. Some of you have left at their own behest to still be aware of what's going on in the world around them. But one thing is known for certain to everyone that near and far, if you cross into Selene and you're not an elf, you never leave. Whether you're killed or whether you are now an elf by proxy, no one has ever really admitted. But so not necessarily hostility, but not like the ooh ah wow as the elves from the Nyrondese side of the world tend to be. For comparison's sake, think your Lothlorien elves versus your Rivendell elves, if that kind of helps. To an extent, a little bit more secular versus open to helping. But describe yourself as you've come across along a ferry, seeing the strange thing that you in front of you, a blue-robed person with gold trim, a large lizard folk, a short little well-dressed halfling, and a Renee barge woman, yet appearing a little bit slightly better armed and better kept than the most. Describe yourself.
All right, so you see a 6-foot-tall, lean gray elf. He's muscular but slender. He's clad in muted forest tones, and he's carrying a simple, well-maintained staff. He keeps to himself mostly. You can see he is disciplined because he's not just looking everywhere. He's looking and he's noting stuff down, but he's not really engaging with other people.
Okay.
He's just taking notes on what he sees and looking.
How tall again? I'm sorry, about how tall?
About 6 foot tall.
So an inch or two taller than average. Not like holy cow, but just a head or two above. And obviously, even though we're not necessarily in a completely ignorant world, literacy is not a everyday facet. Your larger cities may have public schools that your kids may go to for basics, but out here in Wynford, in the smaller towns, if you didn't learn how to read or write from your parents or from churchin, or because your job required it, you didn't know it. So you do take note of an individual sitting there. Some of you that may have more nefarious backgrounds is like, is that the tax man? Son of a bitch. But yeah, so you see that. And certainly last but not least, Ryland, go ahead and give us a little bit of your description as you happen upon the situation. What have you been doing this morning?
Do you want Ryland or do you want Pergola?
Oh, I just did Ryland, didn't I? Pergolar,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
sir.
We'll get there.
Well, a little bit shorter than Ryland, not much. You see a tall elf. He's sunburned. He's got blonde hair. Basically looks like he spends his whole time outdoors. And pretty well muscle, but like lean muscle. Like does more like climbing and survival than like lifting weights type thing.
Wiry guy.
Yeah. And he's 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 dressed in like, you can tell he's been like somewhere remote because he's dressed in his armor, like rather than like if there's like no rivets there, it's like tied together.
Okay.
You know, repaired on the fly type thing. He's carrying 2 swords and a bow, and he's just kind of looking around. Not really comfortable in a town.
Okay.
I mean, not to the point where he's like walking around drawn up. Yeah, not to the point where he's like looking to shoot somebody as soon as they say hi to him, but just kind of out of place, feeling like it's overcrowded,
Okay.
thinking people are ridiculous, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah. The
Kind of amused by everything. If he sees like the group of people, like everybody surrounding Surchek.
And that's kind of what seems to be happening. Whether it's obviously intentional by the handful of very obvious dock workers, 4 people, wearing schmucks, tunics, work boots, tools in their light belts. A couple other guys, like, literally walking in the big straw hats, the fishing poles. A couple other guys, two males and a female, a little bit better dressed, but overall just a relatively obvious villagers, civilians, commoners, as it were, laborers that seem to be in here, outside of the now equally large group of travelers or other unusually dressed people. So you guys stand out to each other every bit as much as anything else, and gradually the group of civilians kind of notices this next circle forming around the small circle and growing a little bit at unease, and you know what? Great day for fishing, huh? And the fishermen go heading off this way, and the laborer's like, oh, it's as long as you ain't one of them there Miss Marsh boys, yeah, you ain't got the big frills like they do, so I guess you're all right. And kind of look over at the at Maristella and just kind of give them the look that she's used to seeing by a lot of dock workers.
I just smile and wink back at them.
And the group kind of breaks up, leaving the 6 of you, or 7 of you, 6 of you, standing there. No, there's 7, isn't there? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so feel free to discuss anything with yourselves, or does everyone in the moment of doing the 6-way Spider-Man meme just nod at each other and go about their business? Does someone want to break the ice and
I look behind me and look around, ignorant to looking down. Who speaks to me? Finally look down. Child. I am hungry.
Are there any like rats or anything on the ground around us?
No, it's
Kind of like something small and alive that I could grab.
No, we're at a pretty well traveled Ford ferry dock type thing. Probably at night, this would be ideal rodent hunting as they scavenge, busted sacks of grain and this, that, and the other. But yeah, right now it's just the amount of traffic. Any rat that's been out is done dead and someone else's dinner. So yeah. The large Celantan not too far away, known relatively near and far, both as a highway. It's a riverway, a highway, but it's also pretty clean water and pretty good fishing, especially again with the depletion of all the naval forces with the war years. A little bit more large caravans, large convoys, punctuated by just days of no other travel. So you could go fishing. I'm sure Suchek already knows this with probably an dives in, grabs him a nice big old fat pike and calls it a day, man. But sorry, long-winded answer, no. Crow, couple crow, seagull, couple seagulls.
I don't have any way to grab one of those. Do I? Or maybe something more palatable to our large friend would be found in the tavern, along with the mug of ale. What do you think? Mine's fair sell, by the way.
Oh,
He holds up the ration, the halfling, and I don't go to grab it. I kind of squat down and just smell it rather than grabbing it, and then finally stand back up. Not fresh.
So likely being what do you envision halfling field rations? Like dried apples, some raisins, maybe some big old like summer sausage, some cheese.
Nature Valley Bar.
Nature Valley Bar.
Like a little bitty thing of soft brie to rub onto some dark rice and just some sissy ass food. And our homie's like, right. You just got a handful like halfling style trail mix up for you, and you're like,
not fresh.
When Suchek says not fresh, I'm going to call over the ration or the halfling.
I do not hunt, child.
Deal.
He's like, I will be known as child now, and I'm just kind of like sitting back, like leaning on the wall, like watching all this, just like these people are interesting. Cleric seems nice, like in my own head, just like just people she's used to.
Well, if you're offering, sure.
Yeah, so you've been in town again as who's you that has been here the longest, Mr. Tobrin, despite thankfully being a guest at the temple. You did hear that the Riverside Inn is kind of the ideal place if you're on a budget or if you're just a normal folk. There's a nicer place called the Keepsake that's up around the corner. That's a little bit more of a what's the I can't think of the fancy word. A little bit more of a long-term hotel snobby.
Bougie.
Bougie ass, wannabe bougie ass thing. You were tempted to go there. They said, a couple like, hey, do you know High Bright Murney, the halfling that runs the keepsake? And you're like, no, I don't. But and then there's the third place. It's not necessarily it's called the Bucket. A little bit down here on the far south side, near the south side of the far south end of town, near the river. So, more of a place to get a drink. It probably almost as fun as this. Probably not as fun as the Stalties Spittoon, but cheap drinks, cheap food, no beds. If you get too drunk, if in a good mood, they toss you to the east. If not, they toss you to the west and watch you roll down in the river. But that's a little bit. It's a little bit more of your seedier joint, with the like I said, the riverside kind of being the suggested place. Sayavea, the high priestess at the temple, kind of lets you know a little bit of what's going on about town while you had been there. Yeah. Yeah, it's large structure right around the corner. You would have noticed, obviously, as you had passed it coming into town, Anya and Rylan and Pergalore. But just we're going to assume the strange spectacle in the middle of the town was a little bit more. That's interesting. As of note, I don't think any of you guys do have mounts yet. And no one came pre-built with horses or any of that, but those of you that may have noticed, other than a few hitched wagons, it doesn't seem like there's anyone riding horses. Most everything kept in a local stable further to the north side of the town. But yeah, heading back over towards the riverside, unless anyone has anything else they want to do. Above the table, I'm sorry, go.
Oh, I was just gonna say she just kind of Anya just kind of follows from behind, just kind of like eyeing the group. Not like she's like standoffish or anything, but she's just kind of quiet. So she's just kind of like monitoring everyone, like nodding when people look at her, and just kind of offering like slight smiles, but just quiet.
Okay. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's very generous of you.
Kind.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll fall in next to Suchek and say they thought you were the other guys, didn't they?
They mentioned Wrong Marsh, yes.
How can they not see you don't have the large, bright orange plumes?
Humans have smaller brains.
This is true.
Yeah, actually, likewise with Pergalore, correct? You are from the Celadon, which borders, correct? If I remember right? And that does border the Gnat Marsh to the south. The Gnat Marsh itself forms the southern border of the Celadon, and those are the Mist Marsh on the west side of the Duchy of Ernst. Yeah, I mean you'd be pretty well versed with a little bit more of the Lizard Man lore and differences, but kind of both of you amused at the.
I feel like I'm more used to seeing him too. I'm not completely stranger to the elves of the Celadon as I am here.
We probably traded a couple times.
Yeah, maybe whether you guys recognize each other, or it may be one of those as you guys are. I don't want to say, "Do I know you?" because I don't want to sound like the guy that says, "Do I know you?"
We're at the point like, oh, I know a couple people from the Salt Marsh, but you don't want to be that person that says, "Do you know Tommy? He lives there."
Exactly.
Tommy.
Frickin' Tommy. Yes, he owes me many steaks. We'll take tail as exchange. But all right. So we're gonna go ahead and pop up a visual just to make sure I know what I'm doing with things, working with them. I'm not gonna populate the bar with tokens unless I have to. We'll work through my control of the battle map part of Fantasy Grounds as we go, but hopefully you guys can at least see the map of the riverside. Yeah.
Yes, I have it.
Can we do something here if you don't mind? I'm gonna go ahead and set up a combat thing just to make sure that I did this right, and that you guys can control your characters and move them around and all that. How do I know?
Would you like to take like a quick 5 while you guys test all that out?
Can you just move your dudes? See if you can move your dudes.
Oh, okay.
Is all I'm asking. Yeah. I'm seeing someone here. Anya's not
Yes.
moving. Do I have you
I'm
locked up
grabbing
somehow?
the page. Nope, I can move now.
So everyone's got movable. All right. So my grid is set up. The map is set up. Good. Okay. Get the fuck out from behind the bar, man. What the hell? Kidding. All right. So I guess we didn't need the 5 unless it's time for a 5. Is it time for a 5?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay, so we'll be back in like 5.
Chrono Mistress has called time.